Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something I found really fascinating. It's excerpts from Overcoming the Fear of Failure, Book 1. And it feels less like a typical book and more like a practical manual for entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. It really cuts through the noise and gets down to the psychology, but also the actual steps, how to navigate all that uncertainty and, frankly, the setbacks that'll happen.
Right. So our mission here is to pull out the core principles from this manual. We want to give you the kind of essential tools for dealing with risk, building real confidence, and ultimately hitting your goals. Think of it as building your own success manual.
Okay, sounds good. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
So the manual kicks off tackling, well, the big one, fear in business.
Yeah.
And it makes this really crucial point early on. Fear isn't just some annoyance. It's hardwired, a survival thing.
Yeah, that whole fight or flight response, right? Deep in the brain, the amygdala. It's ancient programming. Used to be about lions. Now it's maybe the fear of losing your savings or failing publicly.
Exactly. Same primal alarm, different modern jungle. And what's interesting is how the manual explains that this fear, it doesn't always show up as like outright panic.
Oh, definitely not.
Often it's sneakier, it disguises itself. Maybe it's hesitation or getting lost in planning forever.
Yeah, procrastination. Or that little voice of self-doubt that just keeps nagging at you.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's fear playing defense, keeping you safe but stuck.
But here's where the manual offers a really powerful shift in thinking. What if that fear, that knot in your stomach, isn't just a warning to stop?
What if it's a signal?
Exactly. A signal that you're actually pushing yourself, stepping outside the comfort zone, that you're onto something potentially important.
Like the Sarah Blakely example they use, founder of Spanx. She heard no again and again.
So many times.
But according to this manual, the fear didn't paralyze her. It was almost like the resistance became fuel. It made her more determined.
And Thomas Edison, too, right? The manual points out his thousands of, let's call them unsuccessful experiments with the light bulb.
He didn't see them as failures, though. That's the key. Each one was a lesson. Data. Pointing him towards what would work.
It just flips the whole narrative. So instead of, oh no, what if I fail? It becomes...
Okay, what can I learn if I try this? It's a completely different energy.
So the first big takeaway, the first chapter in our success manual is managing fear isn't about eliminating it. You can't.
Nope. It's about recognizing it, understanding what it's telling you, maybe even thanking it for trying to keep you safe, and then taking a small step anyway.
Action despite the fear. That's how you build momentum.
Exactly. Which leads straight into the next really critical idea in this manual.
Yeah.
We have to redefine what failure even means.
Because society basically teaches us, failure equals bad, shameful, an endpoint.
And that mindset is just crippling if you're trying to innovate or start something new. Because the reality, as this manual shows over and over, is that failure isn't just possible in entrepreneurship.
It's inevitable.
It's inevitable and honestly, often necessary for growth. Think about it. Every successful entrepreneur you can name, they've failed. Probably big time at some point.
The manual gives great examples. Walt Disney, fired early on. They told him he lacked imagination.
Can you imagine? Or Jeff Bezos, his pre-Amazon ventures didn't all fly, but the manual shows those were essential learning curves. They didn't take it personally.
That's the shift, isn't it? Failure isn't a judgment on you. It's feedback on the idea or the approach. It's just data.
Pure data.
Yeah.
James Dyson and his vacuum prototypes, 5,127 of them.
Incredible.
Each one that didn't work told him something valuable. It wasn't him failing. It was the design needing adjustment. He was gathering data.
So the manual gives us two key mental steps here. First, separate the outcome from your identity. A project failing doesn't make you a failure.
That's huge. And really hard sometimes, but vital.
And second, actively reframe it.
Yep.
Consciously ask, okay, what did I learn here? What will I learn next time?
Because failure only sticks. It only becomes permanent if you stop trying.
Yeah.
The manual mentions Oprah being told she wasn't right for TV.
Or Spielberg getting rejected from film school multiple times.
Right. They could have stopped. But they saw those as obstacles, not conclusions. They persisted.
So the actionable idea here is almost welcome the small failures. Don't just brush them off. Analyze them. Why didn't that work? Tweak it. Try again.
Exactly. That cycle of trying, getting feedback, even negative feedback, analyzing and adjusting.
Yeah.
That's how you build resilience.
Which is the perfect lead-in to the next section in the manual. Resilience in action. Seeing how people actually did this.
Yeah, these case studies are powerful. Resilience isn't just bouncing back. It's learning from the impact and actually growing stronger because of it.
Okay, like Howard Schultz. his vision for Starbucks as that third place, that community hub.
Revolutionary at the time. But man, over 200 investors said no.
200. But the manual shows he didn't just pack it in. He traveled, he learned, he refined the vision, kept that belief, and eventually pulled it off.
Then there's Oprah. Her story, overcoming so much personal hardship, even getting fired early in her TV career.
Yeah, incredible.
She didn't hide that. The manual emphasizes how she used her authentic experiences, her vulnerability, to connect. That adversity became her foundation.
Turning a perceived weakness into a massive strength.
Exactly. And Elon Musk. The manual is pretty frank about his journey. SpaceX rockets blowing up, Tesla nearly going bankrupt back in '08, constant criticism.
High stakes, very public setback.
For sure. But his approach, according to the manual, is this relentless analysis of why things failed. Understanding the physics, the engineering, the market, whatever it was, and just iterating, persisting through intense pressure.
So the common thread, the principle here seems to be, they didn't dodge the obstacles. They confronted them, treated setbacks like feedback, and used that info to adapt and keep moving.
That's it. Okay, so if fear is the signal and failure is the data, then managing risk is the strategy you need. And the manual is clear. You can't avoid risk in entrepreneurship. Not if you want to achieve anything significant.
Right, that brain wiring again. It wants safety, predictability, but playing it too safe.
That's often the biggest risk of all. The manual uses Blockbuster and Kodak as cautionary tales. They clung to the old model, afraid to embrace the new risky thing.
And got left behind. Standing still was riskier.
So, successful entrepreneurs don't avoid risk. They manage it, they assess it, figure out how to mitigate the potential downsides, and stay flexible.
Like Oprah launching Harpo Studios. Huge bet on herself, leaving the network.
Massive risk. But the annual points out it was strategic. She built a team, had a plan, secured backing. It was calculated, not just a blind jump.
Or Schultz again, with acquiring Starbucks. Big move. But he didn't just roll it out nationwide immediately.
No, he tested the cafe concept first. Small scale, validate the idea, then scale. It was disciplined, managed risk.
So it's about shifting the question from what if it goes wrong to, okay, what's the potential upside here and how do we handle the potential downsides intelligently?
Precisely. And the manual offers concrete tools for this. One is breaking big, scary decisions into smaller, manageable steps.
Right, like climbing a mountain one step at a time, or maybe starting your online shop with just a few products first.
Exactly. Or building a side hustle before you quit your day job. It limits your exposure while you learn and build momentum.
Makes sense. What else?
The minimum viable product, the MVP. The manual really stresses this. Build the simplest possible version of your idea to get it in front of real users fast.
Like the early Airbnb site. Just air mattresses, right?
Yeah, super basic. The goal wasn't perfection, it was learning. Getting real feedback. Is this even something people want?
And this links back to failure being data. A small test that doesn't work. Not a disaster, it's just information.
You got it. The manual encourages normalizing those small failures as learning opportunities.
I like the pre-mortem idea too.
Yeah, that's powerful. Imagine your project has already failed 6 months from now. Now work backward. Why did it fail? What went wrong?
It forces you to anticipate problems before they happen, so you can plan for them.
Exactly. And finally, the manual talks about having a safety net. Maybe it's financial enough savings to cover expenses for a while.
6-12 months, it suggests, if you're making a big transition.
Right. Or maybe it's multiple income streams or strong partners. That buffer gives you the breathing room to take necessary, calculated risks.
Okay, so all this understanding fear, reframing failure, managing risk, it all feeds into building confidence, right? Especially when everything feels so uncertain.
Absolutely. And the manual's clear. Uncertainty is the baseline. It's not going away. Confidence isn't knowing everything will work out perfectly.
It's trusting your ability to adapt, to figure things out.
Exactly. Confidence is built through action, through taking those steps, even small ones, despite the fear and uncertainty.
Like Musk pushing through the early SpaceX failures? Or Sophia Amoruso using the struggles at Nasty Gal to build Girl Boss? It's belief forged in action.
And the manual gives us simple ways to build this. 1, look back at what you have achieved. Write it down. Even small wins matter. They're proof.
Proof you can make progress.
Yeah. And 2, let go of needing the perfect plan from day one. Remember that Reid Hoffman quote the manual uses.
Oh, the embarrassed by your first version one.
That's the one. If you wait for perfection, you'll never launch. Trust that you can learn and iterate along the way.
So confidence isn't this fixed state. It's something you build, like a muscle. through doing the work, especially when it's hard.
Precisely. And when those hard moments hit, when you face a setback, the manual has a section on mastering the turnaround, from setback to comeback.
Because setbacks will happen. It's how you respond that matters.
Totally. The manual frames setbacks not just as problems, but as potential catalysts, opportunities to pivot, to learn something crucial.
Like we saw with Schultz getting all those rejections or Oprah getting fired. Those moments forced a change in direction that led to something bigger.
The key ingredient for that comeback is resilience, which means, yes, acknowledging the hit, feeling the disappointment.
You can't just ignore it.
No. But then you consciously shift into learning mode. Refuse to let that one event define you. Use the data. Recalibrate.
Like Sarah Blakely's dad asking what she failed at each day, normalizing it.
Exactly. Building that resilience muscle early. And then strategic action is key. Analyze what went wrong, but with curiosity, not blame.
The Airbnb example, again, pivoting from just air mattresses to the whole platform based on what they learned.
Right. And break the comeback down. Small steps. Don't try to fix everything overnight. Build momentum.
And act. Don't just analyze forever.
Yeah, the manual stresses agility. Assess, learn, adjust, move. That ability to turn missteps into stepping stones, that's often the differentiator.
And throughout this whole process, this whole manual for success, there's a constant theme. You don't do alone. The role of support systems.
Oh, absolutely crucial. The manual emphasizes that nobody builds something significant in a vacuum.
You need people. For emotional support when things are tough, sure, but also for strategic advice, for motivation.
The manual gives examples. Schultz's network, the mentors for the Airbnb guys, Damon John's community helping fund FUBU early on, Vera Wang leaning on mentors in a new industry.
And it makes a really sharp point about being intentional about who's in that support system.
Yes. Not just people who tell you what you want to hear or echo your fears. You need people who challenge you constructively, who inspire you, who help you problem solve.
Finding people who push you in a good way.
Right. And knowing how and when to ask for that help. That's strength, not weakness. The right support gets you through the lows and pushes you to aim higher.
Okay, this connects perfectly to the next principle, having an adaptable business strategy. Because that perfect initial plan...
Total myth. Reality always intervenes. Adaptability, the manual argues, isn't just nice to have. It's a core competitive advantage.
Like Netflix ditching DVDs for streaming. Huge adaptation.
Imagine if they hadn't. Many businesses die because they're too rigid, too attached to the original vision, even when the market's screaming otherwise.
Dyson failing in the UK, then adapting his launch for Japan. That's flexibility on the path, while staying true to the goal.
Exactly. And adaptability isn't just reactive, waiting for a crisis. The manual suggests it should be proactive, always looking for signals, ways to improve, testing things out.
Like Instagram starting as bourbon and pivoting based on how people were actually using it. They listen to the data.
That's the key. So how do you build it? Embrace that test and learn mindset we keep talking about. Gather data, run small experiments, listen hard.
And have backup plans, plan B, C.
Yeah, anticipate roadblocks. Use that pre-mortem thinking again. What could go wrong and what will we do then? Adaptability means thriving in change, not just surviving it.
It really feels like all these principles, fear, failure, risk, confidence, resilience, support, adaptability, they all spiral back to one core thing.
Yeah.
Your mindset. Mental resilience.
Totally. The manual circles back to this again and again. Entrepreneurship is a mental game as much as anything. Your mindset is the foundation.
And the manual gives more examples here. Fawn Weaver building Uncle Nearest, Whitney Wolf Herd turning personal adversity into Bumble, Damon John starting FUBU with basically nothing.
Their mental fortitude was key. Resilience isn't about avoiding the tough stuff. It's about facing it, finding the lesson, and letting it make you stronger.
So those actionable steps for resilience are worth hitting again. Redefine failure as learning.
Cultivate that strong, challenging support system.
Build resilience through taking action, no matter how small.
And get comfortable with uncertainty. Learn to operate effectively within it.
That mental resilience, the manual suggests, is what makes everything else possible. It's the engine.
Which brings us right to the final piece of the puzzle in this guide. Taking the leap. Actually starting.
Moving from idea to action. The manual frames it as a decision, not just a dream.
And it's pretty blunt. There's no magical, perfect time. You just have to start with what you've got, where you are. Like learning to swim, you can read about it all day, but eventually...
You gotta jump in the water.
Exactly. Focus on small, concrete, first steps.
Mm.
What's the absolute minimum you can do to get started? Like that first Airbnb webpage.
And tackle that fear of imperfection directly. Remember the Hoffman quote, progress over perfection.
Always. Sophia Amoruso starting Nasty Gal by selling vintage clothes on eBay. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start.
Iterate, learn, improve, celebrate those small wins like Canva did through all their early challenges.
And leverage your support system as you take that leap. Accountability helps. You don't have to have it all figured out instantly.
So the killer question the manual leaves you with is just so simple but powerful. What's one small action I can take today?
It gets through all the overwhelm. Just one thing. Success, according to this manual, doesn't come from waiting until you're unafraid or everything's certain. It comes from deciding to start, taking that first step, and trusting you can handle what comes next.
So, wrapping up our deep dive into this manual, the big picture is clear. Success isn't about dodging fear or failure or risk. It's about understanding them, developing strategies to manage them, building that deep resilience.
Finding the right support, staying adaptable, and crucially, taking consistent action, even when it's uncomfortable.
The journey isn't about eliminating the obstacles. It's about learning how to maybe dance with them, developing the courage and the tools to navigate them one step at a time.
Well put. It's about building your capacity to handle the journey, not waiting for the journey to be easy.
So the final thought for you listening, based on everything we've unpacked from this manual, what's your one small step going to be today?